Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Greg Sloop, and it's time for Live at 5 on this Thursday, December 18th, 2025. Hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. We are continuing our one-year journey through the New Testament. We are up to Revelation chapter 14 today. We're glad you're with us. We are starting with a section that talks about the Lamb and the 144,000. The Lamb and the 144,000, verse 1 of Revelation chapter 14. Then I looked, and behold, a Lamb standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written on their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven like the voice of many waters, and like the voice of loud thunder. And I heard the sound of harpists playing their harps. They sang, as it were, a new song before the throne, before the four living creatures and the elders. And no one could learn that song except the 144,000 who were redeemed from the earth. These are the ones who are not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are the ones who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. These were redeemed from among men, being first fruits to God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no deceit, for they are without fault before the throne of God. And that's Revelation chapter 14, verses 1 through 5. Well, after the disturbing account of the beast and his hold on the earth during the tribulation period, John moves here to a scene where the Lamb appears with 144,000 sealed Jews. This vision starts with the Lamb standing on Mount Zion. He has a multitude of 144,000 standing with him, all having his Father's name written on their foreheads. This labeling stands in sharp contrast to the mark of the beast written on the foreheads or right hands of those condemned by their allegiance to the beast. This juxtaposition is stark, sharply delineated between the people of the Antichrist and the people of the true Christ. There is some discussion as to the identity of these people with Christ, whether they are the 144,000 Jews who were sealed earlier in the book, or whether this be tribulation Christians or all Christians. While the number would not nearly encompass all Christians, it could possibly include all the people who gave their life and did not take the mark of the beast during the Great Tribulation. However, the logical conclusion to me is that they are the Jews sealed for preservation during the Great Tribulation. These, preserved by the name of the Lord, sing and play instruments in worship to God. Their voices were as loud as great waters and sounding thunder. Their worship was lifted up before the throne, the living creatures, and the elders in heaven. Only the 144,000 knew the song and were allowed to sing it. The vision then shifts to a description of the multitude in terms of ritual purity versus moral purity. The 144,000 are said to have been not defiled with women, tantamount to being virgins. This aspect of their purity refers to the ritual aspect. They have rejected physical relations with women in order to be fully sold out to Christ, the Lamb. They gave up fleshly pleasures in order to fully please God at great cost. They follow him wherever he goes. They are the redeemed of the people of God, first fruits of humanity to God and the Lamb. They have acted properly and have been rewarded. However, they are also described as having no deceit in their mouths, appearing without fault before the throne of God, signifying their moral purity. Not only do they act right, which is the ritual, but they are also right internally with God, which is the moral. This scene exemplifies all who will one day stand before the Lord, made righteous and holy by the blood of the Lamb. There is no deceit or disobedience held to their account, for the Lamb has made them holy. This will be the chorus of the redeemed of all ages one day, numbering far beyond 144,000. Yet for now, that is the representative number that demonstrates the great worship in heaven coming from the redeemed. I want to be in that number, and so do you. Then we move to a section that talks about the proclamations of the three angels, starting in verse 6. Then I saw another angel flying in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach to those who dwell on the earth, to every nation, tribe, tongue, and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment has come, and worship him who made heaven and earth, the sea and springs of water. And another angel followed, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she has made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Then a third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If anyone worships the beast and his image, and receives his mark on his forehead or on his hand, he himself shall also drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out full strength into the cup of his indignation. He shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascends forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night, who worship the beast and his image, and whoever receives the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are those who keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. Then I heard a voice from heaven saying to me, Write, blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on. Yes, says the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors and their works follow them. That's verses 6 through 13 of Revelation chapter 14. After the scene where the 144,000 worship before the Lord and declare their praise unto him, the scene shifts again rather abruptly as three angels appear to announce the preeminence of God, the fall of the kingdom of the earth, and the judgment upon those who take the mark of the beast. The first angel delivers the message of the gospel to all people on the earth, again described as every nation, tribe, tongue, and people. His gospel primarily addresses the greatness of God in order to inspire others to worship him and be saved. He warns the listeners and readers to fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment has come, and worship him who made heaven and earth, the sea and springs of water. This specific instruction tells of his greatness and his power to judge. Therefore, all should worship him, the creator of the earth and all within it, including the very water that sustains the animals of the sea and land and air. This advice and command are well stated and worthy of acceptance so that those who do may be saved. Then the second angel comes declaring the fall of the great city Babylon. This city, perhaps a great political or cultural center for the tribulation age society, has been a source of enticement to fornication, whether physical, political, or spiritual, we do not know. However, all are possible as a result of the seduction of this city. It is emblematic of the false religion and worship of the Antichrist and is the cause of wrath upon its adherents and members. A third angel then appears to announce the fate of those who take the mark of the beast. It simply states that anyone who worships the beast and takes his mark will receive the same judgment and wrath as the city of Babylon. That wrath includes the indignation of God and the torment of fire and brimstone before the Lamb and his holy angels. This is an extreme result, but the warning is clear: worship God, not the beast. The consequences are harsh and clear, therefore fair. Worship God and him alone. The picture here is dire as the smoke of their torment rises up forever. There is no rest day or night, and those who worship the beast and his image and take the mark of his name are destined for destruction and torment for eternity. Again, the speaker gives an explanation. He has said already that wisdom is knowing the number of a man. Now he says that patience is keeping the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. So, have the wisdom to recognize that which is definitely not of God, the number of a man, and patiently worship God, obeying his commandments, and exercise your faith in Jesus Christ. Those who worship the beast suffer fire and brimstone, but those who worship God have a different end. This voice declares that those who die in the Lord are blessed. They rest from their labors. Their works follow them. Do your works toward the eternal reward and watch them follow you to heaven. Rest and recognition come to those who work, worship, and withstand the evil of this world. Stand with God and for God, and he will give you rest on all sides. Then comes a section that talks about reaping the earth's harvest. Verse 14, then I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and on the cloud sat one like the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him who sat on the cloud, thrust in your sickle and reap, for the time has come for you to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. So he who sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. That's verses 14 through 16 of Revelation 14. After pronouncing the fate of the beast marked and the blessing of the dead, the fate of the beast marked and the blessing of the dead who die in the Lord, John now moves on to discuss the vision of the angels obeying God by reaping the harvest of souls and by reaping the grapes of wrath. In this passage, one like the Son of Man was sighted on a white cloud, having a golden crown and a sharp sickle. Another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him who sat on the cloud, calling for him to thrust in the sickle and reap, that the harvest of the earth was ripe and ready for harvest. He then thrust in his sickle and reaped from the earth those who were elect, according to most scholars. Then we talk about reaping the grapes of wrath. Verse 17. Then another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar who had power over fire. And he cried with a loud cry to him who had the sharp sickle, saying, thrust in your sharp sickle and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. So the angel thrust his sickle into the earth and gathered the vine of the earth and threw it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. And the winepress was trampled outside the city, and blood came up out of the winepress up to the horses' bridles for 1,600 furlongs. It's verses 17 through 20 of Revelation chapter 14. In this passage, the next angel that came out had a sharp sickle as well. Another angel came out from the altar with power over fire. This can signify that this angel had power to use fire as a form of judgment. He would use it to punish the enemies of God. He called to the angel with the sickle and instructed him to thrust in and reap the clusters of the vine of the earth, or the grapes of wrath that are ripe for harvesting. The angel with the sickle did just that, gathered the vine, throwing it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. This winepress and the vine represent the blood of those killed in the battle of Armageddon. The winepress was trampled outside the city. The blood that came out of the winepress ran up to the horses' bridles for a distance of 184 miles. The amount of blood it would take to run 5 to 6 feet deep for that many miles is absolutely astounding. The carnage would be unparalleled. This is the judgment of God on those who rode with the Antichrist against Jesus Christ. This shows the great victory of Christ won against the sinful subjects of the Antichrist. Here's what's so important. Be on the right side when it counts. Be on the right side. Don't be on the wrong side. The wrong side will suffer. The wrong side will be trampled. The wrong side will be destroyed. The wrong side will suffer the fire and brimstone of judgment. But when you get on the right side, the wrong side will get all those judgments, but those on the right side, those on the side of the Lord, those on the side of Jesus Christ, will receive the blessings of eternity, the blessings of eternal life and heaven, and all the things that come along with knowing him. And that's the word for today. Be on the right side. Be on the right side. Good to see Sharon Noblet today, Tona Green, Richard Britt. So glad that all of you are on here with us. There are others that have not identified themselves, but we're glad you're here. It is always our pleasure and honor to see you on Live at 5. We enjoy bringing this every day, Monday through Friday. As I've said, there will be some changes at the first of the year, but we're winding down this year, and we're winding down the New Testament. We're going to be coming to the end of Revelation in just about another week and a half to 2 weeks, and we're excited about what we've been able to speak to you about relative to the book of Revelation. It's a very cryptic book. There are things about it that you might not quite understand, but the bottom line is it tells us how the world will be judged for their turning their backs on Jesus and following the Antichrist. We have to be ready. We have to be ready. We have to be found on the right side. You got a point there, Brother Richard. The Greg Biffle family, there was a plane accident up in Statesville, I believe it was, and some folks were killed in that plane accident. We're so sorry to hear that. Let's pray for them and their families. Spend some time with God every day in the Word of God and prayer. It is the absolute best thing you can do all day long. Start your day with God, and your day will be better. I believe that with all that is within me. Please know we're praying for you, and I look forward to seeing each of you again tomorrow.